They were forbidden to shed blood, but God called them to war anyway. Jerusalem, 167 BC. The holy city has fallen, not to chaos, but to order. The cold, calculated order of a king who called himself a god. Antiochus Epiphanes marched into the temple of the Most High, slaughtered a pig on the sacred altar, and dared Israel to respond. They didn't. Most of them didn't. In the small town of Modin, an aging priest named Mattathias watched his people break. One by one, they bowed. One by one, they burned incense to foreign gods. And when a Jewish man stepped forward to offer the pagan sacrifice, something ancient rose up inside him. He drew a blade. He was a priest. His hands were made for blessing, not bloodshed. But the covenant of Phinehas burned in his veins. The same fire that moved a priest to act when Israel went whoring after false gods in the wilderness. And Mattathias remembered. God had called priests to war before. He struck down the traitor. He struck down the king's officer. Then he raised his voice over the town of Modin and cried, "Let everyone who is zealous for the law follow me." 1 Maccabees chapter 2. His 5 sons ran with him into the wilderness. The youngest, they called him Judas Maccabeus, the hammer. He had never led an army. He had no cavalry, no siege weapons, no supply lines. What he had was the mountain terrain of Judea, an unbreakable will, and a God who fights for the outnumbered. At the pass of Beth Horon, Judas faced an army that dwarfed his own. He looked at his men and said, "It is easy for many to be overcome by few. In the sight of heaven, there is no difference between saving by many or by few." 1 Maccabees chapter 3. They charged. The Syrian army broke. Battle after battle, Judas Maccabeus did what no military strategist could explain. He routed generals. He reclaimed cities. He moved like a lion, and the enemies of Israel learned to fear the name Maccabee. 3 years after the desecration, 3 years after the pig bled on God's altar, Judas and his brothers marched back into Jerusalem. They climbed the Temple Mount. They wept at what they found. The altar was defiled. The courts were overgrown. The lampstand was gone. But the Maccabees did not despair. Priestly hands that had learned to hold swords now set them down. They cleansed the temple. They built a new altar. They searched for consecrated oil. They found one small jar, enough for a single day. The menorah burned for 8. Daniel had written it centuries before. The people who know their God shall stand firm and take action. Chapter 11, verse 32. Mattathias was a priest. His sons were priests. But when the presence of God was threatened, they became something else entirely. They became the Maccabees. And the light they relit has never gone out. Please like and subscribe to this channel for more content.